The Halbrook farm sat miles beyond the nearest town, surrounded by acres of wheat fields and dense woods that locals avoided after sunset. Thomas Halbrook worked the land the way his father had. Ruth kept the house. Their 3 sons, Eli, Matthew, and Jonah, helped in the fields, and their youngest, Clara, followed their old shepherd mix everywhere she went. The dog's name was Rusty. He was gentle, loyal, protective, until the night he didn't come home. The bite. Rusty had chased something into the woods just before dusk. They heard it first. A scream, not a bark, not a growl, a scream. Thomas grabbed his lantern and rifle. The boys followed him to the tree line. Rusty staggered out of the darkness an hour later. Something had bitten him. His fur was matted with blood around his neck. 2 deep punctures marked his throat. The wounds were too wide for a coyote. Rusty's eyes looked wrong. Too focused, too aware. Ruth cried as they carried him to the barn. They washed the wound, bound it tight. Rusty didn't whimper. He didn't blink. He just stared at Clara, the change. By morning, Rusty was different. Foam gathered in his mouth. His breathing turned ragged. He snapped at the barn door, splintering wood. His growls vibrated deep and unnatural. "Rabies," Thomas muttered, but there was no fear in Rusty's eyes, only hate. When Matthew approached with water, Rusty lunged. The chain snapped. He tore into Matthew's arm. It took Thomas and Eli to drag him off. Matthew survived, but barely. That night, Thomas made the decision. He couldn't risk it, not with Clara, not with any of them. They tied Rusty to the old oak at the edge of the property. Clara begged, "Please don't, Papa, he's sick." "He's not bad." Thomas held her close as he raised the rifle. Rusty didn't bark. He smiled. The shot echoed across the fields. Rusty dropped, dead. They buried him before sunrise. The scratching began that night, soft, deliberate, under Clara's bedroom floor. She thought she was dreaming at first. Scratch, 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 as if claws dragged slowly across wood. She pulled the blankets over her head. It stopped. Then came the breathing, wet, heavy, right beneath her bed. She screamed. Thomas rushed in with the lantern. Nothing was there, but the floorboards were damp. The grave. The next morning, Jonah ran from the field, pale and shaking. "The grave," he whispered. "It's open." Thomas followed him to the oak tree. The dirt was torn apart. The wooden marker snapped in half. The grave was empty. There were no footprints, just dragged marks leading back toward the house. The first death. Matthew died that evening. They found him in the barn, his body twisted, throat torn open. Something had chewed through bone. On the wall behind him, carved deep into the wood, "Good dog." Ruth collapsed. Thomas locked the doors, boarded the windows. But the farm was too quiet. No insects, no wind, no cows lowing in the pasture, only breathing, circling the house. "It comes home." They saw it at midnight, standing in the wheat field. Rusty, but not rusty. His body was bloated, fur sloughing off in patches. His neck hung at an unnatural angle where the bullet had passed through. One eye dangled loose, cloudy and gray. His legs bent backward. His mouth opened too wide. Inside was darkness, not a tongue, not teeth. Darkness. He walked toward the house, not running, walking, like he knew they couldn't escape. The slaughter. The windows shattered first. Eli tried to hold the door. Rusty slammed into it with impossible force. The wood exploded inward. Eli's scream cut short in a spray of blood. Jonah grabbed Clara's hand and ran upstairs. Thomas fired again. The bullet slowed it but didn't stop it. Rusty climbed the stairs on broken legs, joints snapping into place with wet cracks. Ruth tried to shield Clara. Rusty bit through her face. Jonah shoved Clara into the closet and whispered, "Don't open it, no matter what." She listened. She heard everything, bones breaking, furniture splintering. Her father screaming her name, then silence. The closet. Hours passed. Clara didn't move. She smelled blood, rot, wet earth. Then scratch, scratch, scratch at the closet door. A familiar voice whispered through wood, "Clara, good girl." It sounded like her mother. She didn't answer. The knob began to turn. Slowly, back and forth, back and forth. Then the voice changed. It became her father's. "Sweetheart, it's safe." Then Eli's, then Jonah's, then Matthew's, all at once. Overlapping, laughing. Clara covered her ears. The scratching stopped. Silence again. She waited until morning. When sunlight crept through the cracks, she opened the door. The house was destroyed. Her family gone. Not bodies. Gone. Outside, the wheat field had been trampled into one massive circle around the oak tree. And at the center, Rusty sat, watching the house, waiting. His tail wagged slowly. When Clara stepped onto the porch, he stood. His mouth opened. That darkness inside it moved. Something inside was smiling. Clara ran. She didn't stop running. She never went back. Years later, they say the Halbrook farm still stands abandoned. Travelers who pass at night report a dog sitting by the road. Friendly, waiting. If you stop, it follows you home. And when it disappears into your yard, you'll hear scratching beneath your floorboards. Soft, patient, hungry, because it doesn't kill out of rage. It kills because it was invited in, and it always leaves one behind. To remember.
Hey everyone, quick question for you. Did you know that over 95% of the people who watch our videos aren't actually subscribed to the channel? We totally get it. Life gets super busy, and hitting that subscribe button is probably the last thing on your mind. But here's the thing, subscribing is completely free, and it's the single best way to support us and help us keep making the content you love to watch. It literally takes just 1 second to click, but it makes a massive difference for us. So, if you're enjoying what you see, please consider hitting that subscribe button and joining our awesome community. It would mean the world to us. Thank you so much for your support, and we'll see you in the next video.